Hi, I'm Miss Young, and I'm here today to talk first reads. With first reads, my goal is for students to have a basic understanding of who the characters are and what happens in the story. We start first reads by watching the preview, reading the story's introduction, and having quick turn and talk conversations. This helps hook reluctant readers, and the variety of activities helps set the tone for class. Within the first 5 minutes of class, we're reading, we're watching video, we're analyzing, we're collaborating. Students know that in my classroom, we're going to keep things fresh, we're going to keep things moving. And that's why I try to do the optional developing background knowledge activity in first read lesson plans. These activities get my students on their feet, moving around the room. With Abuela Invents the Zero, my students are sharing their ideas about grandparents based on their experiences as well as what they've seen in movies or read in books. After students work together to develop background knowledge, I deliver a quick 2 to 3 minute lecture using notes outlined in the lesson plan. Mini lectures provide context a student cannot infer while reading. For instance, I might elaborate on an author's biographical information or their role within a particular movement. If we're reading a classic text, I might describe what makes it canonical. I keep my lectures quick and engaging, but I make sure to speak slowly and clearly so that all my students, including my ELs and approaching grade level learners, can follow me. This moment in the lesson is critical active listening practice, and it preps students for the type of instruction they might encounter in college. The scaffolds StudySync provides with each lesson are one of the most important features of the program for me. I have my students set up in StudySync so that my assignments are automatically scaffolded for ELs and approaching grade level readers. All students have to do is click on the slide in and their scaffolds for each activity appear. When we're working offline, I print and distribute handouts instead. I try not to spend too much time on the background activity and mini lecture because I want to leave as much time as possible to read and annotate the text. I post annotation strategies in their assignment that emphasize tips for comprehension as students read. Then I turn them loose to read independently. And you know how this part works. While my students read independently, I circulate the class. The one-on-ones I get with students during this time are the most important instructional moments in a first read lesson. I dedicate a lot of my efforts to working through scaffolds with my ELs and struggling readers. I have 3 different ways to assess students at the end of first read lessons. Each method gives me a slightly different way to gauge understanding. The lesson plan's text talk questions give students a chance to explain their understanding of the text in their own words and to share their ideas about what they've read. I either use them for paired conversations or for whole group discussion. First reads also come with reading comprehension multiple choice questions. I love that they're auto-graded, so students and I both get immediate feedback. Think questions are probably the most challenging way to conclude a first read, as students write responses that cite text evidence to demonstrate comprehension and analyze vocabulary in context. Because they take longer, I almost always allow students to complete think questions as homework. It's rare that I would use all 3 of text talk, reading comp, or think questions in the same first read. It's nice to have a range of options, but I generally choose 1 or 2 so I can limit first reads to a single class and keep us moving toward the skill lesson that follows. But that's for another day. Thanks for watching and good luck with your own first read lessons.